Okay, you guys, so I'm back, and I had to actually do this in the middle of the night because I was reviewing some of the comments, and I wanted to kind of further explain my experience in the facility. My experience in the facility was what really kind of struck me in in such an insultation. Is that a word? I was insulted. I just put it like that. Fuck it. I was insulted in a motherfucker. We would go to these groups, and during these groups, you are to be active, participate. It helps further prove your progress in order to get out. And since you know you're not crazy, you're like, okay, this is gonna be an ace. This is gonna be a pass. Now, all day that day, I would separate myself from the group because I just felt like, okay, look, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I'm not going to interact directly with these people for so long. That especially when you notice that they use certain little bitty tactics or little codes. See, they were speaking in code. A lot of them speak in code. And you done figured it out, especially when you do enough research. You're intuitive. You studying how these people are doing you, because now that you know that they're using you from your profile, from them profiling you, you start to notice triggers that they use. So you hone in on those triggers, and you kind of try to figure out a way to transmute them triggers, right? So y'all, let me tell y'all. So we would go to group, and I would notice that the activity in group was specifically pointing out what I had been doing all that day prior to going to group. So it was almost like, and you could tell that it was last minute, that it was not something that was already in the system. It just like people just came in and just improvised. Because when you would see the printouts, it didn't really look like they were printouts from old tactics. It looked like something that, oh, let me quickly find this on the internet, print this out and then pass it out to the class. So certain things that the person was doing, I was looking at the way that they were presenting information. And she specifically brought about meditation. And it just struck me odd. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything about this. This is a great idea. This is perfect. But I was just meditating earlier today. Why was this not presented earlier this week? It was like as though I was being heavily monitored. Like I was a special individual within the program. And I've noticed that from prior years of being placed in these facilities to be observed and experimented on like a lab rat. They would definitely shut the floors down, meaning that they would notify every staff within the facility that a special individual is coming in and needs to be observed. But how they observed you and experimented on you was they would watch what you do, how you act, and then they would, for targeted individuals, the experiments are the triggers that they create and that they strategically place. And I know you all can relate to when they mock you, when they mimic you, It could be as simple as a hairstyle. It could be as simple as a daily routine of you going to the grocery store, buying a specific thing, and someone is in the aisle and they want you to see them. See, with the targeted individuals, they want you to see them. But to the general public, they want to remain covert, extremely normal. So y'all, back to this. This girl come in here the second time, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's only making me say that I'm only like remembering two specific times where I was just like heavily insulted and had to just kind of, I tried my best to not react the way that they wanted me to. I truly did. But the second time this girl attempted to kind of just really put me on blast. She wanted, because also now, it ain't just the staff that are organized or orchestrated in this. They have the patients working with them. Whether it's through compliance or just because they have full control over this person after they done doped them up on whatever drug that they need or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because these prescriptions are drugs. Prescription drugs. I'm sorry. Excuse me. My voice is gone from a lot of yelling. Sorry. I'm still trying to find inner peace within the midst of all this chaos, because that's what they're trying to take, is your peace. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, the second time this girl did this in group, what was the specific thing? It was, I think it was journaling or something. It was something that I was doing just before we went to group. So you could tell. And then when she was passing out the papers was so fresh. Like, yo, this is not what I don't think that this has been used as, like, what's the word for it? All I know is it was quick. Someone quickly printed this shit out, and as she was discussing it, I had no other choice. I mean, it's like it would not allow me to not say anything. And I thought I said up under my breath. But see, she called me out. She asked me what I said. And I told her, I said, listen, this is mockery, and I don't want to participate in, mocking myself, because y'all want to do this. Basically, she didn't let me finish speaking. She just kind of really told me off in the nicest way. She was like, look, if you don't want to be in the group, you don't agree to be in the group, you can just leave. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. It was the way that she said it when she cut me off in the most polite way. I was able to read the fact that you caught me, but because you are the one that is sitting in the mental illness seat and I am in charge, I'm going to politely excuse you out of the room. And it's really fuck your feelings. It's really fuck your intelligence. We know you're not crazy. But because you are a targeted individual, and we have been notified of that, we're going to insult you in every aspect. We want you to act like a nutcase so it can prove the slander campaign that we already have on you out into the community. So you just go ahead. And yo, y'all, I was like, oh my God, Nene, you can act up, put yourself in here longer, or you can politely get up, leave, and ask other staff, would it affect you leaving, by you not wanting to participate in this particular group. Listen, like I said, I'm speaking from my experience, from my knowledge and my research. And yes, my understanding from the way that I'm being profiled is to really is really to insult my intelligence. Is to insult my self-respect, like for myself, like the respect that I have for myself. People will come in and just really spit on your name. Like, I actually have strangers who have been using the spitting tactic. And when I was living in this old apartment that I got evicted out of, right? People would literally walk by my house and spit on my lawn as they walked by. And it was just so, oh my God, it was so hurtful just knowing that it was not a coincidence. It was not a coincidence. It was like people were really making it, like going out of their way. They were going around, going out of their way to be noticed by me. And because of the lack of understanding, because of the lack of self-control, coming into the knowledge of what was happening to me, I was reacting like any other person would. And in return of that, they would label you as animals. Because you would just nut the fuck up out of nowhere, because you know what that signal mean. You knew what that signal meant for you. And that's the conditioning tactic, is that if we can do it enough to her, this could be a trigger. We could use this as a trigger. And each and every time, this is how this person, we're going to try to condition this person to react. And this is further proving, this is sabotage now, but this is further proving the individual to be a nutcase, mentally ill, someone that may pose a threat to themselves or others. And it is such a sickening, oh my God, it is such a sick way to get people. This is low blows. That's why you can definitely understand that this is a revenge program. But this is also hate crimes, you guys. This can be added into hate crime. And if the LGBT and Q community, and I'm not calling these people out, but they have gained so many rights over the years due to hate crimes. And listen, y'all, nobody deserves to be placed in immense fear, outright judged and criticized to the point where this individual could harm themselves or others. So that's the reason why I'm comparing it to the LGBTQ or whatever community or whatever, because this is a hate crime as well. This is hate. This is hate for an individual. And how they use this particular hate crime is by sabotaging the victim in return of them self-sabotaging themselves. If I put that correctly, because y'all lately, oh my God, lately they have been attacking my concentration and my focus like no other. When I say like no other, like no other. And I had to put this out when the babies are trying to wake up, boys. I'm telling you, I'm spitting fire. This is real. This is real, and I'm trying to break it down in such a small. I'm trying to break it down in such simplicity. Oh my God, because it is such a dire need. This is New World Order. It's New World, bro. This is New World. This is a new way of attacking someone, all the while exemplifying normalcy. They are paid actors. Whether you're paid monetarily, whether you paid through status, whether you're paid through sexual favors, yo, it's still paid. Someone is getting something out of this. Because, and then what makes it so bad, after they're getting what's out of this, it is ego-based. This actually creates ego. And not only creates it, but feed it. Oh my God, it feeds it. So when people say they're just feeding on your negative energy, this is they're feeding their ego. Like, oh my God, I got her. And that's a lot of the under breath comments that I get when they finally get a desired emotion or reaction out of me, whether it's beforehand or right at that moment. Because you notice now, they use that predictive programming.